What's up, guys? Mike here, and today I am bringing you my thoughts about this bad boy right here. It has been officially about a week as of this video going up that I have had myself the Nintendo Switch. Before I get started though, I would like to send a special shout out to Doug Bowser and the people at the Nintendo World Store because of, I never really got a chance to properly thank them for the way that they handled things at the midnight launch, though, for the Switch. Again, Doug Bowser, even though Reggie wasn't there at the launch show, it was really nice getting a chance to talk to you and getting to actually discuss the Switch with you a little bit. And I appreciate you tweeting out at me. Your Switch looks really good with the two blue Joy-Cons inside, by the way. It's literally Team Red versus Blue, and that's one of the things I love about the system is the customization on this thing. But also huge shout out to PJ though for the way he handled the midnight launch as well though. Him and his crew put on a fantastic event and it could not have went any better for that. But today we are talking about the Nintendo Switch and my initial thoughts and my overall recommendation on whether or not to buy the system. I've had this for about a week and I've pretty much tried this thing just about everywhere that I possibly could. I've used it at home on my TV. I've taken it to a friend's house. I've taken this to the concourse in the city, and I've played with a whole bunch of my friends. I've used it in the dog style head. I've used it with the Joy-Cons by itself. I've used it with the Joy-Cons on its side. I've touched the Pro Controller a little bit, but I haven't really used it too much actually right now. But I'm going to give you the joys and the cons of the Nintendo Switch. You see what I did there? But yeah, any criticism that I am about to give to the Nintendo Switch is probably pretty small, most of these. And honestly, the only reason why I talk about these criticisms is to hopefully make this console better. Because before I get into this, all I could really start saying about the Nintendo Switch is that if this console lasts as long as the 3DS has lasted, I would be perfectly okay with that. In fact, I'm going to even go as far to say that if Nintendo made all of their consoles like the Nintendo Switch from now on, I would be a happy camper because this console is godlike. I absolutely love my Nintendo Switch. And I'm going to tell you why right now, though. Starting with number one, so far the system right now is extremely sleek. It's very nice and portable. Basically, the system comes with two Joy-Cons. It comes with the regular grip. It comes with the dock, and it comes with pretty much everything else, including the 6.2-inch screen tablet right here that you can use for pretty much everything. The fact that you can actually just slip these out, and I can just play with these by themselves is a pretty dope feature. And then the fact that you can just slip these onto the screen like a Wii U gamepad makes these even better. Again, it's just very sleek in the fact that you can have so many different customization options in terms of how you play it. And I honestly did not think I was going to enjoy the dog head style more than the Pro Controller, but using the Joy-Cons like this has really grown on me. I really do enjoy using these as the dog head style grip. Honestly, Nintendo, you guys should really get on making the Nintendo Switch dog an actual mascot for this thing, because honestly, I actually bought myself some dog tongue decals to actually make this thing look like a dog, and it looks adorable. But yeah, that's the second thing I have to say that I love about this system. Not only is it sleek, but there's so many different controller options, especially for someone like me that only has 4 fingers on his right hand. Honestly, having a grip on some of the controller options is no good for me. Like, trying to use the Joy-Cons by themselves, one in each hand, can't work for me. But still being able to have the option of having a standard controller and having the Pro Controller really means a lot to someone like me that really can't have a proper grip on his controller. But I do have to say, though, number 3 on this thing is pretty important, because most of the controller options feel extremely comfortable. I actually really do enjoy that. It's just amazing having so many different controller options, and the fact that this thing could be controllable in so many different places. The fact that you can just take it with you in a simple case. This controller is very convenient for the new age of people that have to go to work or people that have to go around. It's just very sleek to carry it around. And I love carrying it around, just popping out the kickstand and just putting it on my desk at work on my lunch break and playing Bomberman. That's something I never thought I would have been able to do until now, though. And it's absolutely crazy. One thing I am going to say, though, is that the launch lineup is pretty decent. To me, honestly, personally, for the type of games that I like to play, there are a decent amount of games on there right now for launch. Honestly, if you never got the chance to play Shovel Knight, or you never tried the new Shovel Knight modes, definitely pick up Shovel Knight, especially the Treasure Trove edition, because you get Shovel Knight, Plague Knight, and Spectre Knights mode, which is pretty crazy. If you're like me and you love Mario Kart, better pick up Fast RMX, because that is a really good F-Zero clone. I played Fast Racing Neo, and this one looks 10 times better, with many more tracks and the vehicles. But of course, the biggest one I have to talk about is Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And I have never played a Legend of Zelda title in my life. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you never played Legend of Zelda before, pick up Breath of the Wild. There's so many reasons why this game is like a nearly 10 out of 10. And of course, the second best rated game in all of history. There's so much to do in the game. There's a whole bunch of exploration. The fact that you can pretty much do anything in the game, just about. You can scale any mountain. You can swim any river. You can fight any enemy. You can use any weapon. This game is so versatile. It plays to your style. And I love that about Breath of the Wild. And the fact that Link has so many different amiibo choices now with the 30th anniversary amiibos. You can legit make yourself look like Ocarina of Time, Link. And if I find an Ocarina of Time amiibo, I will be doing that myself. But honestly, besides that, who else wouldn't want to be able to play Breath of the Wild anywhere on the go? It's just an amazing feeling to say, hey, this is my home console. I'm taking my Switch on the go and playing it anywhere. It's legitimately easy to carry it anywhere and set up shop. I absolutely love that. Some of the gripes, I am going to kind of get into some of the gripes about the system really quickly, though, the cons that I do have. In my 1 week of playing it, the left Joy-Con has kind of desynced every now and again, but luckily it hasn't been too bad. I really do hope that there'll be a patch for that as well, though, but I was playing Breath of the Wild on one of my live streams, and suddenly Link just started running backwards, even though I was holding up on the controller stick. But that is the only time I have really had that issue, and it kind of fixed itself in less than a few seconds. One thing I am going to say about the Joy-Cons, though, I really am not a fan of the fact that these control sticks are a little stiff. On the Pro Controller, you have a lot more freedom, I feel, on the control stick, and I kind of wish you were able to have a little bit more mobility on the Joy-Con control sticks. Again, it's something I've gotten used to, though, but for me personally, the control sticks are a little bit stiff. The kickstand on the back of the actual console is very poorly built, honestly. That's one of the main gripes I actually do have with the console. You gotta be very, very careful with it. If you're a little kid and you pull the kickstand out, you can easily break it. You can pop it back into place, but over time it does wear out from what people have been telling me. Luckily, though, it's just as simple as that, though. Here, I'll demonstrate really quickly. So, yeah, if I pull it out, once you hear that click, do not pull it any further, because once you hear that click, it's pretty much good to go. It's got a very weird snapping system, honestly. I kind of wish that the stand was built a little bit better. I've also heard that the dock can actually scratch up your Switch when you put it inside the dock. Let me take a look. Has my Switch actually gotten any scratches on it? My Switch luckily has not gotten any scratches on it, but then again, I've actually taken very good care of my Switch. The one recommendation I could use is that I've seen people actually put padding inside the dock, which is a good suggestion. But honestly, if you're very careful and you slowly lower it into the dock, you're fine pretty much. There's some nubs on the inside to connect it, and that's how it connects to the TV. And then on the back of the dock, you can actually have the HDMI, a USB for LAN adapters, and the power cable as well. The one main gameplay issue that I really did run into, and honestly this disappointed me very badly. It only happened in Super Bomberman R. I have not tried this with any other game yet, but on day one, me and my friends were playing Super Bomberman R in the concourse. We had two switches. We had 3 people on one switch and 3 people on another switch. the switches were probably nowhere near, like, the switches were probably no more than like a foot away from each other, not even. They were like dead next to each other. We ran through walls. We ran through our own blasts in battle mode. We lagged like crazy, like we were running in place, and we actually got disconnected quite a few times. Also, finding our room was a little bit difficult to figure out in Bomberman R as well, though, for some reason. Like, I created a room, and it took like 5 minutes for everybody to get into the room, though, and it really should not take that long to connect to other switches, especially if they're less than a foot away from each other. So I kind of hope that Nintendo keeps that in mind for future updates, and I really do hope for games like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe it's a lot more seamless. Because I'm telling you now, if Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is very wonky like it is for Super Bomberman R, I will be a very disappointed Nintendo customer. Because I love Mario Kart, and there's nothing I would love more than to have 8 switches in our concourse where we have our weekly meetups, and just be able to just play the Switch non-stop. I love Mario Kart, and I really don't want to see that title go down the shitter. And excuse me for the language, but yeah, that's kind of how Bomberman feels right now, unless they patch it. Let's see, I am going to get into a few more gripes, and then I'm going to get to the other positives as well for the console. There's a lot more positives than negatives, so just bear with me. Actually, I am going to say one positive thing about 1-2 Switch. I honestly thought that 1-2 Switch wasn't going to be all that good, though. But 1-2 Switch is definitely an amazing game to pick up, and if you have a friend that has it, or you have GameFly, I would definitely recommend renting this game. I cannot, in good honesty, recommend buying the game for $50 for a total of 28 minigames. I might actually put footage in here. I was actually playing a 1-2 Switch with the Monster Hunter group, and I'll probably be playing it again on Thursday with my fan meetup over in the concourse. But the ball count actually feels legit. It feels like marbles are inside the Joy-Con. It's really scary how accurate the HD Rumble is. It's not a gimmick. Safecrack was a lot of fun, though. You legit move the Joy-Con like that in order to find the lock, and then you hold it when the Rumble feels different from the others. Again, the HD Rumble is subtle, but it works. That is the one thing I have to say about, though. It really should have came with the system. I know that Reggie was like, oh, you guys should be able to build your own bundles of what games you want to get, but I would not have minded 1-2 Switch as a bundle in title. Other than that, though, everything else about the Switch is pretty amazing, though. The menu is very sleek. It's very easy to bring around the console. And, yeah, navigating the menu is a very good thing, though. The one thing I have a problem with on the Switch in terms of the menu and online and all that is the friend codes. I thought we were done with friend codes, Nintendo. I really don't know what happened. I hate the fact that we have friend codes again. Like, I really wish there was an option to search for the person's ID. Like, my username on my console right now is MMG Mike. If someone were to type in MMG Mike, my icon and everything should just pop up, though. That should just be an option all on its own, though. Just like the Wii U with the whole Nintendo Network IDs. I really don't like the fact that we have friend codes again. It's a very long friend code, too, might I add. It's kind of annoying. The only thing that saves the friend list right now on the Switch is the fact that you can search for local users. So basically how that works is you go to the friends menu and you have a choice of picking a heart, a spade, a diamond, or something else. And you pick whichever shape you want, and then the other user picks the same shape as you. And you find each other and you add each other that way. That is probably how I will be adding my friends, though, from now on the Switch list. Because, yeah, I refuse to put in the friend code, and I find it very obnoxious that we still have to do that. But, honestly, I think there's two more really amazing things I love about the Switch, though, but, I'm going to get into a couple more gripes really quickly. The default grip that comes with the system, I'm kind of sad to say that it doesn't actually charge the Joy-Cons. It's not that big of a deal because you can just plug them into the side of the Switch and charge them that way. But the fact that you have to pay $30 for a charging grip and all you get is a USB Type-C port on the front of this thing is kind of ludicrous. For me, though, I found that the $30 grip actually was a very worthwhile purchase, though, especially buying it now at the beginning of the console's lifespan. Because if I'm playing my Switch and my Joy-Cons need charging, but my system is fine, I could at least plug this in and be able to like plug in my Joy-Cons. There's two different sides of this thing because of the fact that the Joy-Cons have 20 hours of battery life, and I'm very impressed with that, by the way. The fact that you can have 20 hours worth of battery life in this thing is pretty amazing, and the fact that you can even have 40 hours in the Pro Controller is even better. It's basically double the lifespan of the Wii U Pro Controller, and I love the fact that it does that. The battery life on the system itself, though, can use a little bit of work, though. I've been running out of juice and battery within like 2.5 to 3 hours on Breath of the Wild. And that's with maximum brightness, though. I don't like using like lower brightness. I'm not the kind of guy that likes a dark screen. I love bright colors. I love bright screens. So the fact that it runs out of battery life in 2 or 3 hours is kind of annoying, but then again, that's about as long as my 3DS lasts, so it's kind of the same thing, so it's not too big of a gripe for me, but I know there's those people out there that really like their battery life on the thing. But I'm planning to buy a battery pack, and I might make a separate video for battery packs to use for the Switch, though, at some point. The only other two things I found annoying about the Switch, though, is trying to hold the Joy-Con on one side like this. If you don't have the wrist strap attached, it can be kind of annoying using these little buttons on the inside. The wrist strap does actually help to make the buttons pop out and everything, and I really do appreciate that. The only thing I'm afraid of, I really wish Nintendo would have thought this through a little bit better with their wrist straps. The first time I put a wrist strap on my Joy-Con, I guess I must have somehow put it on the wrong way. I nearly broke my Joy-Con trying to put on the wrist strap, and it made me nervous. I have been afraid to use the Joy-Con wrist straps since then. I really think that Nintendo probably could have used a little bit of a better system to put the Joy-Cons on, but if you know what you're doing, it's really not too bad. I really do wish Nintendo would have thought that through, though. Like, you should have a directional arrow pointing down to which way it's supposed to slide onto the Joy-Cons, because I don't see that on my wrist strap. And me trying to get the wrist straps off, I was fiddling it for like 10 minutes, and suddenly I just yanked it out, and all I heard was and it was just really, really bad. But other than that, though, there's two amazing things that I really need to talk about that's probably going to take the most time in this video. Number one being the fact that this thing is region-free. I cannot stress enough how much I love the fact that this thing is region-free. There are those European and Japanese titles that come out early before the North America versions that I probably will download onto my Switch. In fact, it's amazing because today I was playing the Japanese demo for Puyo Puyo Tetris, and that's not coming out until April 25th, and North America doesn't even have a demo for that. But here I am just enjoying the Japanese demo of Puyo Puyo Tetris. Again, it's really simple to make a secondary account and just make it Japanese based. The only thing I find annoying is the fact that you have to have the Japanese eShop news and the American eShop news. I kind of wish you could toggle which eShop news popped up on your feed. But this console is godlike for one amazing reason only. I know for a fact that this console is going to bring local multiplayer back. This console, I feel, is going to bring back the joyous days of the Nintendo 64. Back when you just had your friends over and you sat on the couch and you got to talk to each other, eat chips, all-night gaming sessions. This is going to resurrect that, and I am looking forward to that. In fact, I am going to be trying to do that in New York City with my group of friends, trying to bring the entire community together. I'm talking weekly meetups. I'm talking major game releases. In fact, for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I'm announcing it now. I want to do a major tournament for that somewhere in the city. Maybe have like up to 64 people, have a whole bunch of races, and then the final 8 go through a whole bunch of battle modes to try to get the most points. And the winner would get like a trophy and possibly a 2DS with Mario Kart 7 in it or something like that. Again, the details haven't been finalized, but I'm picturing that in my head, and it looks glorious. And that's the one thing I really have to thank Nintendo for. The fact that you guys are trying to bring back local multiplayer again. Yeah, we could always go online and play with our friends. And yeah, the Nintendo Switch is going to be a little annoying to have a paid online service. But the fact that I could just take this with me on the go. This thing is a console. This little thing, 6.2 inches of glory. The fact that this is a console and I can take this with me anywhere. Pop out the kickstand and tell my friends, hey, join the room like a 3DS. I cannot stress enough how thankful I am that you guys at Nintendo have come up with this console. This is a glorious age for Nintendo, and I really do hope you guys just decide to keep improving on this design. I don't care if we get a Switch XL or a more improved version of the Switch down the line. I really don't care. If you guys can milk this thing and make this last as long as the 3DS and the 3DS XL, I am all for it. I don't care if you gotta make 2 versions of Mario Kart. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and then down the line, if you make a Mario Kart Double Dash 2. I don't give a crap. I don't care if you port Smash 4 over, and then down the line you make another Smash. I don't care. Make this thing last. This is a gold mine. The Joy-Cons are legit. The playstyles are legit. The concept on this thing is genius. Doug Bowser, Reggie Fils-Aimé, all of you over at Nintendo, just thank you. Thank you for bringing the Nintendo community together at the launch event that night. And thank you guys for hopefully being able to bring people together in the future. It's important to have face-to-face interaction with your friends, though, because honestly, this day and age, there's too many people on social media, myself included. And honestly, being able to have people in a physical room, being able to play with each other, and just being able to take a home console to your friend's house is an amazing thing, though. And that's why I really want this to succeed. I plan to help advertise this thing. I plan to hold meetups for this thing. I want this console to be a thing that stays around for a very long time. And when the Switch retires, I want the next console to be just as much of an amazing concept as this is. I am really looking forward to seeing what you guys have up your sleeve for the Nintendo Switch. And as for recommendations, I recommend this thing day one. I don't care about the launch lineup. Breath of the Wild on its own for me is a worthy reason to pick up a Switch. Yeah, you can get the Wii U version. Yeah, the Switch has a few choppy drops here and there, but that's nothing a patch can't fix. Honestly, though, between Fast Racing RMX, Shovel Knight, and all the other indie titles that were just announced, Yooka-Laylee, Pocket Rumble, Master Blaster, freaking SteamWorld Dig 2, 1001 Spikes. So many indie games are coming out, and the indie industry is also kind of taken for granted, though. But between all the beautiful indie titles coming out, and all the amazing titles we got coming this year, Puyo Puyo Tetris, Splatoon 2, Mario Kart Deluxe especially, and especially Mario Odyssey, all that alone being first generation titles, as well as other third party titles like Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, Sonic Mania. Everything else coming down the pipeline is more than enough of a reason to invest in a Switch today. I don't care. Pick yourself up an extra pair of Joy-Cons. Pick yourself up a Pro Controller for when Mario Kart 8 Deluxe comes out and Splatoon 2 comes out, because those are games I'm going to be using that for. ARMS. ARMS is another sleeper title that I think has a lot of potential. But seriously, my recommendation is definitely go run out and pick up a Switch today. You're doing Nintendo a service, and you're doing the Nintendo company a major service. And if you guys are in New York, come find me on Fridays in Manhattan at the Rockefeller Plaza. I will be playing my Switch there with my friends, though. Feel free to join us as a community. That is honestly what I am hoping the Switch will be able to pull off. I want the community to come together through this thing, and I want local multiplayer to be a thing again. I miss having fun times with my friends, though. If this can resurrect that and bring back the glory days, absolutely. And especially with Virtual Console, I really do hope that you guys are actually going to be making like N64 and SNES and NES and all the other Virtual Console games online ready. It would be even more godlike to have 4-player online Mario Kart 64 or have an online world record system for any of those games. The possibilities are endless, and I cannot stress enough how much it would be amazing to have a Nintendo Switch today. So guys, please pick up the Switch today. It's an amazing console. You'll be glad I told you to pick it up. Definitely pick it up now. I would definitely recommend getting a micro SD card if you guys want to hold on to extra Virtual Console games like I plan to, though. But those are my thoughts on the Nintendo Switch, though. It's a very amazing console. It still has a little bit of work and a few bugs to kink out, that's for sure, though. I can't say this thing is 100% perfect, but then again, what console at launch actually has had perfection at launch, like no flaws whatsoever? Every console at launch is bound to have its bugs, but I know Nintendo is working really hard behind the scenes to make this console the best it possibly can be, and I can't be more thankful for that. But guys, if you enjoyed my thoughts and opinions and initial thoughts on the Nintendo Switch, definitely hit that like button. Definitely leave a comment down below and let me know how you guys have been enjoying the Switch. Definitely don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Discord. All those links are down below. Thank you guys as always for watching, and until the next video, my fellow Monster Gamers, take care.